Good idea, Sue. That's now being recorded. So we can probably put a link up of this afterwards. So my terrible presenting will be there for all posterity. Great. Right, so this is my FTSE trading screen. As you can see here, I've got the channel breakout that we was looking at, head and shoulders on the 1 hour that hit the target. It's come back to retest the channel, and it's gone back inside the channel, which makes me think that it's very similar to this head and shoulders up here breakout. This also is a false breakout, and it's carried on inside. But anyway, we'll go. Let's do what I do in at the beginning of each week. So this is my minute chart, and this is my main trading chart where all the levels show up. Let me maximize that. Now, I'll go to 1 month. And 1 day. This is what my screen looks like when I've finished. So it's a bit messy, but this is my minute chart, and it'll all come clear hopefully at the end. Right, so the first thing I do is I clear everything. So that gets rid of my MACD, my RSI, all of my SMAs. I've just got a completely bare chart, and I'll even get rid of the price that we've got on at the moment. Right, so this is a daily chart. Let's go up to a month. Right, this is a monthly going back to 2000, and we've had peaks in 2000, 2007. Now, if you step back and look at this, you can see that this is actually ranging between here, which is about 3,400, and 7,000. So there's a 3,500 range that the FTSE has been in for the last 13 years. Right. So, first thing I do is set my monthly levels. So, going back to 2000, 6957. Now, let me just check. I've got this on a mid-price chart here. So all I do, I literally move my level visually down to the top of that candle. Then I've got color coded, so I can tell which are long-term support and resistance and which are shorter term. So my biggest ones, I make all high level resistance. I make them green with a thick green line. So we have the 1999 high, the high that we reached last in 2013, which is this one here. That one I will also make a thick green. And the 2007 high, there's 3 highs together there, and that I make thick green. Now I'm going to go through this quite quickly the way I normally do it, and then you can see how quickly how easy it is to do every day or at the start of every week. Now my support, I make them red. Long-term support, I make thick red. And sorry, what I should have done before I actually done these was, when I've got a blank chart, what I actually do, I look at the candles. Now, last month's candle, this candle hasn't finished yet, but there's a lot of indecision here. This green candle, so what were we, August? So that's May. It peaked up here around the 875, but couldn't hold it and dropped back down. In June, June has done the opposite. It dropped down to near 6,000, couldn't hold it, came back up. So we're in this kind of range here. But now we've got a positive candle forming on the monthly. On the weekly, we've got last week is interesting. You've got last week's candle is possibly a hanging man. We're at the top of this uptrend here, which started a few weeks ago. A few weeks ago. Now you've got a hanging man. Now, if the next week, if next Friday we finish red, so under 6,600 and below, that could signal more to the downside, which would mean that this has actually maybe formed a head and shoulders or a top here. Then I go to daily. Daily. We've had, let me just make things a bit clearer. We've had a couple of uptrend lines which are fanning out here, but we haven't had three touches on each yet, which makes me it's not a clear trend. It's not solid. So again, at the moment, it looks like anything could happen. But we have had a pullback, and now it's starting to come back. The last, Thursday, Friday, it's starting to come back. It's bounced off this 6,500 line. So anyway, back to and I'll do that first with a bear chart, just so I can get a nice idea, a rough idea of where it's going. Today, it's not clear at all, to be honest. If you looked at here at May, this candle here, you've got a lovely shooting star, and it was at a high. It was a good indication that this was going to reverse. And the following bearish candle here makes that an evening star, and you can see what happened after that. Anyway, right, back to my levels. So we've done the monthly. Now I go to weekly. So now all I do is we've got back to 2011, 2012, 2013. I'm not really that bothered at the moment. We're in this kind of range here, so I'm looking at support and resistance in these areas. If it goes under 6,000 next week, then we can revisit these areas. So I'll just put these in quickly. I've picked this low here as a support. Again, I do these as a thick red line because it's a support. And now I'm going to pick this. See this green, this high candle there. That was a high in 2013. Green thick. This one here, the high, which very recent high. Very boring, very quick though. This group of lows here looks nice. I think these were the ones that held up all last week, or actually broke through the support here. That was back in the month. I'm still on a weekly. So that's basically, we've got at the top at 6951, we've got the all-time high. We've got 6875 is this year's high. Then we've got a recent high which was 2 weeks ago. Another high at the beginning of the year, and that's it on the weekly. On the lows, we've got this group here, and actually I'll pick up the low that we had last week as well. So that's there. Red and thick. So I've got 3 weekly support levels and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weekly resistance levels. Down to daily. Now, this is the. Now, as you see, as you go down to daily, you can start to see a pattern evolving. And it's amazing how these patterns follow forward into the future. These lines constantly keep coming back and back and back. And I would do it, rather than copy my levels, do it visually to your chart, whichever platform you're on. Because whichever platform you're on, because then it will match up when you spread your platform out. Sue's just asked me, do I keep the weekly lines deliberately shorter? I do. Well, basically, as I work my way down from monthly, weekly, daily, I've the actual time frame and the range gets smaller, so less of the charts in view. You'll see why when I've finished. So once you've gone from weekly to day, any highs that you notice, which are this little group of highs here in July, look nice to me, because you've got 3 all in a row. Let me make this a bit clearer. I'll put that like that. Again, daily are significant highs and lows. I mean, these. Oops. So come on, line. That's it. So again, I use the same. My weekly, monthly, daily highs are all the same thickness and the same green for resistance, red for support. So here we've got a high there, green, thick. And actually, is that the same? No. We've got a group of clusters of highs, which here, there, through March, February. So it's a group. Don't forget, all these levels are areas. They're significant areas more than exact targets. So, well, pretty much like anything, Fibonacci levels, pivot lines, they are all levels. So here you can see that I've now got these 2 green resistance levels are actually below this support level. But that is because these met resistance here, here, and here, whereas this was supported here. And it just gives me an idea of, whether it was stopped on the way up or the way down, whether it was the battle was won by the bears or by the bulls. So let's just put another small one in there. Okay, right, now finally, so that's all my daily highs. I will probably actually just pick out these recent ones there. I mean, you can put as many of these on as you like, because if you do it this way and work your way down the time frames, we go to 4 hours now. As you work your way down the time frames, a smaller time period comes into view. So now we're back from 1st of July to now. So we're now in the last month. So you can see this last month's range, well, since the 11th, well, this is coming back into my channel, which I spotted. So you've got this. And that's the other thing that you need to do when you're doing this is don't just put the levels on. Look at each time frames and see what it's showing you. This I spotted as having this is a head and shoulders pattern where it broke out of this channel, which it was running from the 11th of July. There's the left shoulder here. Then you've got the head, and then you've got the right shoulder here. This was the neckline. Let me just show you the neckline. The neckline came across. Oops. The neckline actually ran across roughly like that, across the head and shoulders. You could actually measure it more like that. But I think my measurement of the head and shoulders was 6514, which I think it hit once it had broken through. Broke through, like I say, it doesn't look to me like this channel's gone. So this head and shoulders reversal, it's reversed here, and this looks like the end of the final support here, and it's bounced back up. So, but these are just things that I look for as I'm filling out these levels. Right, so we're on the 4 hour levels now. Now we've got some these levels didn't show on the 1 hour. On the daily or the longer ones. Now I will start exactly the same thing, putting in these levels. So I'm going to first of all start these recent ones here. Oops. What's happened there? Right, sorry. Now, if you look at the highs that stopped at last week and the week, so the last 4 hours, 8 hours of Friday's trading actually matched exactly to this high in July. That was 8 o'clock on the 16th of July. It hit the high, the same high that we hit on Friday. And again, these levels would all show up. Now I've gone to 4 hour, I do exactly the same, green, but this time I do a dash and a medium size line. So now I've got a dash there. So when that shows up later on, I can determine between the long-term ones and these I know of a short 4 hour time frame. So then I put in my further lines. So we've got a support here, which is red, medium, dash. And then just fill out these lines quite quickly. So can you see how the chart actually builds up Um, that's pretty much. There's some little support levels here between the 22nd and 29th of July. Now I like these. These are also look for hammers. See this 4-hour hammer here. Hammers tend to, not always, but if you get a hammer, it's a good point of resistance at the bottom of the wick, and you quite often find that the second there'll be two. Typical. I can't see a good example here, but normally there will be two. You'll get a point of resistance, a point of support, sorry, at one level, and then it will be confirmed by a hammer. Um, hammers, I think, are brilliant trading signals. So dash medium. So as you can see now, with the 4-hour chart, I've got my put a few more in. Is anyone on CMC or CMC chart trading platform? So, and there's a nice little cluster there of lows. And now I'll fill in the resistance lines which haven't been picked up by the daily or the weekly or the monthly. Same thing. I do these with dashes. There's a few there. Let's put it in between those three. And that's about it. I think there's a couple here, short-term ones, which have spiked up. Right, so I think almost done. Yeah, this group of three highs here are very, very close to this group here. I'll put 2 in. So that's my 4-hour chart. Now, as I trade during the week, I'll go back to an hourly chart. And any significant highs or lows that happen in the week, I actually put on, I'll just do one. So that one there, and I will put that in a different colour. There. Now I know this looks a mess, but I trade a 1-minute chart. So this is what my 1-minute chart looks like. So I've got 1, 2, 3, there's 4 hours of trading there. And as you can see, I've only got 1, 2, 3, 4 levels. And what this means is that I actually, as I trade through, or as the price action moves through the week, I start to get, if the price starts to drop here, I can see that I've got a level about 6,600, 6,589, 6,579, 6,561. Because they're dashes, I know they are 4-hour support and resistance. I know that when it gets to 6,553, 6,554, we've got quite a heavy, although this was a level of support, a level of resistance before, as you know, I'm sure you all know, I don't need to tell you that once something has broken from through a level of resistance, it's likely then to become support. So, I would expect if the price dropped down to consolidate possibly at these areas. But this one, if I see a reversal candle, a hammer, a 1 minute hammer or a 5 minute hammer with a wick, with it possibly starting at 6561 with a wick at 6553, that's good reason to go back up again. And that's pretty much it. So explaining that's my FTSE. That's my FTSE set up now, ready for trading on Monday. There's no actual clear direction long term, so not sure where it's going to go. I'll carry on watching this hour chart, which has got my head and shoulders on. Let me just show you that. My hourly chart, because it's the longest term chart that I actually look at, I put all my patterns on here that I've spotted. So we had the head and shoulders with the neckline, the breakout here, false breakout, came back up. Then it broke out properly that same day, came down. My target was around here, 514. Hit that, and then it's nice and steadily came back up, came within. I was expecting a bounce back off this channel and down. Pardon me. Possibly down to the 6,300, 6,400 levels, but it didn't. And it's now back in this level. So again, it's quite possibly going to bloody range again. May break out. Now it couldn't break out down the bottom. This might be a good excuse. That was a good enough pullback. We've gone back into the channel. I expect some resistance around 690-ish area. And then if it breaks out again at the top, it'll either go straight up. But if you watch it break out of here, I would say, or possibly if you're doing long term, put half your trade long here, out, wait for it to come back. When it comes back to this line and then goes back up again, then put in the second half of your trade and ride it all the way up as far as it goes. But yeah, so that's my trading setup, and I do that. Like I say, I normally do that Sunday evening or Monday morning, and then that's my. You can see my actual 1 minute chart, and I'll move that out, and then put on my technicals. So I put my whoops. So for my indicators here, I have MACD, standard settings, RSI, standard settings, and then I have SMA at 10, 10 at green. In green, I have a 20 SMA. And I have that in amber. And then the final, I have one more, a 50 SMA. And I have that in red. So I've got green, amber, red, amber, green. It's traffic lights. So if they're running in order, it's easy to see that they're running in order. And once they are in order, you know that the trend's likely is in the right direction. pretty much it. Don't know if there's anything else you want to ask or anyone wants to ask questions now. But that's taken, well, we've done 37 minutes to set up my levels. It takes me about 20 minutes normally when I'm not talking. The last SMA that I use is on all my charts is a 200. And with CMC it is good because you can make it a thick line and positive. If it's positive you can make it green. If it's negative you can make it red. And here you can see it's a nice thick green line, but it has broken through it at the close on Friday. What's my 5-minute one gone? Yeah, so any questions at all? Kate has asked, do I redo them afresh every week? Yes, I do. Basically because looking at this as a 1-minute chart, it means nothing unless you've gone back and seen the whole picture. Like I say, I like to see it on a clear chart, and I like to build up a chart each week. It just makes my mind clear of where I'm going, basically. Like I say, the daily charts. Let's try the drawings a second. The daily charts. We hit a low here in June, then a high. We've got a higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. It's just started to curve over. We've got a low here, higher low. Now it's dropped. Now, like I say, it looks like it's a bit of consolidation here. Possibly a triangle or a downward channel. There's no candle pattern there to give any clues where it was going. This one at the beginning of August. When was that? 2nd of August. Friday the 2nd of August finished with it's not quite a hanging man hammer because the wick's not long enough, but the way it was confirmed by Mondays, it indicated that was quite a bearish candle and did really show what the second two are coming down like this. This one here is within halfway, and then you've got a second one which has come up. These two are very bullish. So looking at it in a shorter term frame, these two candles have actually reversed. So that's Friday and Thursday have reversed everything that happened Wednesday with very little pullback. And it's closed up at the high past the open of Wednesday. So it last week finished on a good move. But like I say, I don't like to judge until I'd rather let the market show me where I'm going at the end of the day. But no, that's it. Adrian. Adrian's asked a question. Can you ask him to type in? Right. Adrian wants me to type in this box instead. Oh, I see. Did you say, has Adrian asked a question in the chat room? Sue has said. Let me just get the chat room up. So, on the right, okay. On the 1 hour chart, you start each week with a clean sheet. Adrian, can't see the questions in the Citrix. Okay, that's fine, Adrian, don't worry. Yeah, basically, what's the question again? On the 1 hour chart, do you start each week with a clean sheet? No. My 1 hour chart, let me just go back to my full screen. My 1 hour chart, I put my patterns, any trend lines, long-term trend lines, patterns, channels, head and shoulders patterns. I put these on, and once they're on there, they stay on there. Because I don't, and if I think I actually put this channel on back in end of July. So this channel was here from the 29th of July. As you can see, this trend line from there to there died. It's not really a. Well, it picked up some lows here, but it wasn't a great one. I did have one from there to here prior to this, but that got broken there. Once it's got broken, I'll clear it. But I would rather put my patterns on here and then let the price action go to it. If it goes to it, rather than move my channel to fit what the price has done, if that makes sense. I'd rather put this on, like I say, I put this on over 2 weeks ago, this channel. And it was interesting that this head of it was only the head that broke out of the pattern, the channel pattern. And then once this high on the channel level formed and broke away, that's when I was confirmed or sure that this was a head and shoulders. And that's when I draw this neckline in. Once it broke here, that's when the 6514 level was on the cards. Once that broke, initially it didn't do it, and I lost money going short here when it bounced back. But then, and I lost money here. I think this was the Carney announcement as well. This high spike here and lows. This was the Bank of England announcement that caused that. Because I think Kate called the 6630 short here, which would have been a superb trade, but I think it got to 6628. But yeah, could have got that all the way down to over 100 points. Like I say, and it has gone back inside the channel. Normally, what happens is on a channel breakout, you get a breakout from a level of support. It will come back. That support then becomes resistance. So you get a breakout, a retest, and then it goes down. Normally, the measurement from this second breakout is the height of the channel. So I think it was 6680. So it's about 140 points that the target for that channel breakout was. Now it's back in the channel. It's possibly going to break out at the top. If it breaks out at the top, that's 140 points measurement. 6840. That's going to be so 6685, 6785, 6825 would be my target if it breaks out of this channel. Right, 6825. Let's see if that's a significant level here. Daily. Let's go to monthly. Oh, get my drawings back. Right, 6825 weekly. Daily. Yeah, so quite possibly. I mean, 6875 was the high of the year, and so it's not out of the question that this could go to 6825, and if it gets there, it's likely to go on. This was just a small pullback in August, and now we're going on to new highs. But I didn't say that. Okay, anything else? Well, like I say, this level chart, I only ever look at this on a 1 minute. This is this is the chart I trade from. Technicals. And the other thing I use is Bollinger Bands. SMA I put as amber, so that matches. So it's a 20 SMA, so that matches the amber line that I've already got, and then I just have two outer Bollinger Bands in blue. So that is my final. This 1 minute chart is what I trade from. Any more questions? Okay, if there's no more questions, I'll close this webinar now. Sorry, I'm not a professional presenter. Sorry for the delays and unprofessional way of doing it, but I hope it's been useful. Like I say, this is what I do with my charts every beginning of the week. On a Monday, I don't like trading the FTSE on a Monday morning, and not until the Dow's opened. I'll watch it. If there's something coming up, then I may take a trade. But I've set up these charts now, and what I normally do is watch the FTSE, and while I'm doing that, I will switch to the Dow. So tomorrow during the day, this is my Dow chart. There's all the levels that I've got from last week, from last Monday. Here I've just done back last week. I just done from 2013, simply because we've hit new highs in the Dow, and we're up around this range. So there's nothing historical going back higher than this. Like I say, on the 1 minute chart, again, you've got some nice. Yeah, this is why I do this. Last week, from the open at 2:30 on Friday. It dropped here and just kept dropping. It hit a small level, an intermediate level from in the week. There was nothing to stop it falling until it got to 348.7. It actually stopped. I mean, and that's not a level that I've put in. That's a level I've done visually. Yeah, and it hit 346.8. Yeah, yeah. So it dropped 2 points lower than that previous level. So this is why I do it. Let's just have a look. If you go back to that, where the point of where it changed, these candles here, you've got a drop, a nice. This is a Marabuzzo candle, shaven head, no wick, but then you've got 2 or 3 green candles inside, which are very bullish. But the fact that they've done it on this support level here, which was previously a daily resistance level, a long-term resistance level, it was. I think that was where I stopped and looked at starting to go long here. I don't know if those who were here on Friday and saw what happened when I was trying Stephen's technique, it was quite lucrative. And I rode that all the way down, and here we changed and went all the way up again. So that's why I do it. These levels matter. Okay, well, if there's no more questions, I'll close this webinar screen now. And I'll be on the chat room for about 15 minutes if there's anything else we need to talk about. Thanks very much.